We're good?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Vesuvius regular open meeting of council, November 28th, 2023 at 2 p.m. in council chambers. So first off will be the approval of the agenda and any late items. Ms. Robinson?
None.
No, thank you. Could we have a motion, please? Thank you. Councillor Chong, Councillor Federica, all in favor. Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, that would be the regular open minutes from November the 14th, 2023. We have a motion, please. Councillor King, Councillor Federica, all in favor. Thank you. And we will move down to water matters and water districts 8 and 9 financial accounts. And that the reported expenditures from accounts payable for water district information be received for information. As of November the 28th, they are in the amount of $56,150.88. Thank you, Councilor Herrera, Councilor Appleby, all in favor. Thank you. Next is the water regulation and rates bylaw. And that would be Mrs. Wilson, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just trying to bring it up on my screen. This bylaw is coming for council for first, second, and third reading. It is bringing in all the water regulations and rates into one bylaw. I'm just trying to think here, sorry. So this bylaw was brought after review of bylaw number 753, which was the water regulations bylaw that was first brought into adoption in 1989, I believe, with 3 other amendments. Administration is just bringing this bylaw forward to bring it with more standards. And we've looked at other bylaws, mainly Abbotsford and the city of Surrey. So this is kind of a reflection of bylaws that would bring the water regulations and rates bylaw into the 20th, into today's world.
Thank you. So your recommendation is that the water regulation and rates bylaw number 1388/2023 be read a first, second, and third time.
Yes, thank you.
Some of these people have questions about the water before you go ahead. They want to know
I'm
why.
sorry.
They want to know why you can do 3 readings in one day.
That I will explain that. There are 3 readings in one day is perfectly acceptable. It has not been adopted. This is done first, and then the next time it's brought forward, it would be adopted if that's what we choose. It's what regulation, that's what we do. We don't just, otherwise it would take us the first meeting, then the second meeting, then the third meeting. So these 3 are done once, but it is not adopted. Okay, so could we have a motion, please, concerning the regulation? Thank you. Councilor Herrera, Councilor Appleby, all in favor. Thank you very much. And the next thing on the agenda is the full service level declaration. That would be Chief Courtmeyer.
Thank you, Mayor, through you to the rest of council. We presented the changes that are upcoming to the British Columbia structure firefighter minimum training standards that are going to be changed and adopted on March 31st, 2024. The presentation was given at the Committee of the Whole on November 14th, and the recommendation from us is that we move to a full service operations level. The full service operations level is because of the BC Building Code class of Part 9 buildings and how it changes the old playbook to the newer minimum training standards that are going to be effective in 2024. This would allow us to enter into complex buildings without fire department pre-incident plans. Full service, again, does not denote anything other than the way that we conduct fire suppression on the inside of buildings. So moving from an interior to a full service doesn't mean anything other than how we're putting the wet stuff on the red stuff on the inside of structures. So my report as presented I'm suggesting to council that they move with recommendation 1.
Thank you. And there is a full explanation of the structural firefighter minimum standards. And we are very pleased that the town of Vesuvius Fire Rescue has taken courses and met these standards. Yes.
Thank you, worship. Could you clarify as to why this would be a benefit to communities?
So right now, we have many buildings that fall outside, or sorry, fall within the definition of a complex building. A complex building is a building which has 3 or more stories with a maximum living space of 600 square meters or 6,400 square feet. This would allow us to enter into those buildings to do fire suppression. Let's say at one of the condominium resorts or the resorts in town where they have a fire on the stove. Right now, we are an interior service that we would not be able to enter into a complex building to undertake fire suppression. So if it was a toaster fire, we would not be able to enter into that complex building without pre-incident plans. Those pre-incident plans for every structure that is over the 3 stories or the 6,400 square feet, it would take anywhere between 10 to 18 hours, and we have about 180 properties that fall within those complex buildings. So entering into the full service means that we can enter into those complex buildings or those larger buildings above 3 stories without pre-incident plans.
Thank you.
Okay, council, what is their plan? Option 1, could you please read that to us, Mrs. Robinson?
Thank you, your worship. So the resolution that we have is that council declares the service level for Vesuvius Fire Rescue to be full service operations level, and that the fire chief be authorized to advise the office of the fire commissioner of the change of service level and to implement the corresponding training program in support of that declaration.
Thank you very much. So it's been moved and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor? Thank you very much. That's carried up. Thank you. Councillor Bennett is on the line here, so thank you. It's unanimous. Next is the purchasing policy consideration of amendment. And that's Mr. Zacco.
Thank you, Mayor McCordle. So before council's purchasing policy DIN 002 for consideration of amendment. This purchasing policy was last updated in March of 2012. And there have been no amendments since that point in time. Trying to bring this up to speed with some of the opportunities that are out there for the municipality. We are wanting to add a couple categories within into this purchasing policy. One of them is cooperative purchasing. And cooperative purchasing means that a variety of arrangements whereby 2 or more public procurement entities combine their requirements into a single procurement process to obtain advantages on volume purchases from the same supplier or contractor. And the other one is a single source or sole source purchasing. And with respect to this, a single source or sole source is a non-competitive acquisition whereby the purchase for goods or services are directed to the only available vendor for those services. So we've got opportunities with procurement processes now, as an example, through Canoe, which they do the vetting processes through the trade agreements between BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, that take a lot of that field work out and obtain competitive bids and prices. So we're trying to get our purchasing policy in line. So it gives us the opportunities to try to take advantage of the best chance we can.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. With this policy change down the road, we're hoping this would actually save us some money because it'd be better opportunity for procurement.
Absolutely. We're always looking at our best way of trying to save.
Councillor John.
Thank you, worship. What's our current method of purchasing?
So the current method of purchasing is, we go out for competitive bids, to either RFQ or RFP. Certain thresholds within the purchasing policy allow us, where if it's over a certain threshold, we're doing it all through BC bid. So what we're trying to do is none of those things are changing, other than having the opportunity to utilize, as an example, if there's City of Merritt is purchasing something that we are looking at purchasing is going together to save money on a number of things as far as advertising, things of that nature, and sometimes you can get volume discounts as well.
And to follow up, what with our current method of purchasing, what have been the barriers and the challenges?
Barriers, I think you're still doing the same processes. I think you're saving some time throughout this process. You're saving some duplication of services. So those are all benefits for municipalities.
And presumably saving some money on some of the things if you're purchasing with someone else or getting a better deal.
That is all.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Councillor King.
Yeah, I'll move option one.
That purchasing policy FIN-002 be amended. Is there a seconder to that? Councillor Trump, thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. That was passed unanimously. The next item of business is the appointment to the Okanagan Regional.
Can we get you guys to speak up? This lady can't hear very well.
Thank you. If this is Mrs. Robinson, is going to talk about this one. Thank you.
Thank you, your worship. The report before you is for the appointing for council to appoint a representative to the Okanagan Regional Library Board for a one-year term. And we would like to enter.
Right now, we have Councillor Bennett, which is, excuse me, which is why Councillor Bennett is on the screen and not here, because he has been at the Okanagan Regional Library Board meeting. Is that correct, Councillor Bennett? Good, thank you. So is there anyone who would like to make a motion on this? Last year it was Councillor Bennett and the alternate was Councillor King. Anybody wish to make a motion?
Sorry, I'd like to ask if Mr. Bennett would like to stay on. If he'd accept it.
I will.
Would you like to stay on as the alternate?
Yeah.
Okay, that seems easy. Is there somebody who would like to make the motion? Please put in the name. Go ahead, Councillor John.
I'll make the motion that Councillor Bennett be appointed to the Okanagan Regional Library Board with Councillor King as the alternate.
Thank you. All in favor? So, seconded by,
Oh, I second.
yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And the next one that we have is the destination, no, sorry,
The regular.
regular Cal and standing committee dates. Thank you.
Thank you again, your worship. The report before you is for council's direction on the 2024 calendar year. And we have included it with the report for the upcoming regular council meetings, any conventions that are happening in 2024, and any of the statutory holidays that are on there. So we're looking for council's direction on which option they'd like to move forward with, whether we accept this or if there's any changes that council would like.
Thank you. Council, are you all right with the calendar that's here, or is there something that needs to be changed? Go ahead.
Have we explored evening meetings for council in the past?
Mr. Rising?
Through your worship, I
I think there was a history where we did leave some meeting meetings. I can speak from an abundance of past experience. Typically, evening meetings, there isn't much of a change in attendance. And number two is it would create some issues, as far as staffing. That's something that would be a consideration, at least from an administrative perspective. So there's I guess the two main issues. I know a lot of people, many jurisdictions that have been at, have changed meetings from afternoons to evenings, and was no change whatsoever in the attendance, maybe for one or two meetings. Other than that, there was no change.
So this is just to accept them for next year, but if you wanted to bring this up again, at a meeting, I think we could certainly, but that wasn't included in this particular, report. Okay? Yes,
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's beneficial, maybe you could mention that the meetings will be on the second and fourth Tuesdays through January, February, March, April, May, and June. Because they can't see the map, obviously. Then in the summer, there's only one meeting on the 16th, August the 13th, back to September, 2 meetings a month on the second and fourth Tuesday, October 2nd and 4th, November 2nd and 4th, and December, 1 meeting. Just so I explained that if you haven't seen the calendar, that's what's passed.
I can't make Tuesday, afternoon meetings. I think there's a lot of people that in this town work, that can't make afternoon meetings. I think if we don't have all of them out in the afternoon and one in the evening would be much better.
thank you. That was brought up that we could consider that at a different meeting, sure. Thank you. So, we are requesting, council direction on which option that what they would like for the 2024 meeting. Option 1 or option 2? What's your pleasure? Yes.
Which one is option one?
Thank you. There's a seconder for that. Councillor King seconding that. All in favor? Thank you very much. Destination Vesuvius Board appointment, Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you, your worship. So, the report in front of you is for the appointment to the Destination Vesuvius Board for a 2-year term. In this term, or this term will expire at the 2025 Destination Vesuvius AGM. Currently, Councillor Poderica has served for a 1-year term, being appointed at the November 1st inaugural meeting. And he carried on for the 1-year term, as that was part of the previous 2 years. So now we're looking for a full 2-year term coming up.
So it was Councillor Poderica was the representative and Councillor Chong was the alternate.
Yes.
Councillor Poderica, are you interested in continuing on this committee?
Yeah, sure.
Councillor Chong?
Yes.
Okay, could someone please make a recommendation based on the recommended motion? Councillor King, would you like to do that?
Yeah, option number 1 there. Councillor Puerto Rico to be appointed Destination Stories Board with Councillor Chung, the alternate term for November 22nd to expire at the 25th Destination Stories AGM.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you very much. Next is the fireworks committee. The fireworks request to not enforce insurance requirements contained in the Good Neighbor bylaw. Mrs. Hilson.
Thank you, your worship. This report is being brought to you for council's consideration to waive the 10 million insurance requirement and allow a 5 million in its place. As administration does not have the authority to change a bylaw, it needs to come to council for your consideration. So administration is proposing the following. Whereas Big Bang Fireworks and Corp wishes to put on a fireworks show on December 1st, 2023, and whereas the Good Neighbor bylaw provides that in order to receive a permit for consumer fireworks or display fireworks, the applicant must obtain a comprehensive general liability insurance policy with an inclusive limit of not less than $10 million. And whereas the town accepts that comprehensive general liability insurance policies with an inclusive limit of not less than 10 million are not commercially available. And whereas the town has given 3 readings to a bylaw to amend the Good Neighbor bylaw to reduce the insurance requirements from 10 million to 5 million. And whereas the amending bylaw requires provincial approval, which is estimated to take 6 months. And whereas Big Bag Fireworks and Corp has provided a certificate insurance that complies with the requirements of the Good Neighbor bylaw, except that it provides $5 million of coverage. Whereas council wishes to enable the fireworks show to proceed on December 1st, 2023. Now therefore council resolves to not strictly enforce the requirement in the Good Neighbor bylaw that in order to receive a permit for consumer fireworks or display fireworks on December 1st, 2023, the applicant must obtain a comprehensive general liability insurance policy with an inclusive limit of not less than 10 million, and that instead the town will accept a comprehensive general liability insurance policy with an inclusive limit of not less than 5 million.
Thank you.
And that is the recommended option.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Counselor Chong.
I'll make a motion for option 1. I'm not gonna repeat all of that.
No. We just had it read out. Okay, is there a seconder? Counselor Poderica. All in favor? Thank you very much.
Why are we just doing that today when the bylaw should have been changed months ago and the fireworks is on Friday, 2 days from now? That doesn't give anybody, if that's the way the town runs their businesses, we aren't gonna get anything done in this town by having any kind of
We did
Christmas
not-
parades,
excuse me.
Easter, pardon me?
Mr. Sergeant, we did not have the paperwork until last week.
And what
We will
about
not do
we started with the fireworks 18 months ago.
I'm
At some
sorry.
point, we need to have a question period, so all of these people can speak up when it's
Thank
time
you.
to ask a question.
We understand. I'm sorry, but you're not, this is not a time for you to speak. We will.
Okay, so my time to speak is on Thursday night, or sorry, Wednesday night. Are all of you members from this council coming to our meeting on Wednesday?
Mr. Sergeant, that is not appropriate. We are discussing this right now.
When's it appropriate for you guys to say, yes, we're coming to your meeting or not?
Excuse me, what we're voting on right now is whether the fireworks we're allowing the fireworks to go ahead with a $5 million. And that was pretty important to be done today. And we have just, did we vote on that?
Not yet.
No, we didn't. Let's all vote on on the option that was recommended. All in favor? Thank you very much. The next item is the quarterly council strategies, priorities chart and infrastructure strategy. Mr. Moses.
Thank you. We don't have any. As council and the public's aware, council has established some priorities that started about a year ago, and quarterly we can get an opportunity to review them at maybe the whole meeting, and they come to council for approval. So at the last maybe the whole meeting, there were some additional changes that were made to the priorities chart. So those priorities and recommendations have been incorporated in what's in front of you today. So administration is requesting council to approve both the council priorities chart as well as the infrastructure strategy. In addition to that, because it is almost December, we typically review these every quarterly. January is only basically 5 or 6 weeks away. One of the other considerations is to cancel that quarterly review that is only 5 or 6 weeks from now. That is a council decision, but it is recommendations from administration. I think one other thing that is important, if there is a change and council does wish to change direction, that can be done at any time. So if an urgent issue came up, we can definitely take a look at it and amend the priorities as required.
Thank you. So we have 3 recommendations here that council approved. The strategic priorities chart dated November the 28th. That council approved the infrastructure strategy dated November the 28th, and that the scheduled quarterly January review of both strategies be canceled. Can all of those be voted on? They have to be voted on separately? Thank you. All right. Council, what is your pleasure? What about the first one, strategic priorities?
I would number 1.
Thank you. Councillor Poderica seconding that. All in favor? Thank you. The second recommendation. Counselor Poderica. Second, moving it, Counselor Chong is seconding it, this infrastructure strategy, all in favor. Thank you. And the third one, that the January review of both strategies be canceled. If someone would like to move that, Counselor Chong, Counselor Bennett, you okay with that? Thank you. So that was Counselor Chong, Counselor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you very much, that's carried. Next is the general net payroll, Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. So as of November the 28th, general cash requirements are in the amount of $624,360.37. Sun Bowl cash requirements of $16,319.78. And net payroll accounts of $116,173.24. The options are to accept these for information purposes, or number two, to request additional information from staff. Council, Councilor Poderica. All right, option one, please. Thank you. There's Senator, Councilor Chong. Thank you very much. All in favor. Thank you. Okay. Next is the sewer regulations and rates bylaw. Okay, that would be Mrs. Hilson again.
Thank you, Your Worship. In front of you is the sewer regulations and rates bylaw number 1389, 2023 for council's consideration of the first three readings. Similar changes have been made to this bylaw as brought up with the water rates and regulations bylaw, bringing the rates and fees into one bylaw, and bringing this bylaw into alignment with other bylaws in neighboring communities and larger centers. So the recommendation from administration is that sewer regulations and rates bylaw number 1389, 2023 be read a first, second, and third time.
Thank you. Councilor Chong.
Thank you, Your Worship. When did we start a review of these bylaws?
These bylaws started probably several months ago, and looking at the bylaws, we were going to do an amendment, but the amendment would have been a consider overhaul of the bylaw, which would have just been a brand new bylaw. And so we decided, rather than amending the current bylaw, it would be more prudent to just repeal the sewer fees and sewer regulations bylaw and bring them into one bylaw.
Go ahead.
And so just to clarify, the review of both of these bylaws was not,
Can you speak up?
We can't hear anything.
excuse me. So to clarify, the amend or the review of both of these bylaws were not triggered by any changes in taxation or the budget process.
No, they have not. The fees that are in these bylaws have already been approved at the October 28th council meeting.
And also to clarify, the purpose of this review is to protect the town from current and future legal and other liability.
Mainly it is liability driven, that the bylaws didn't provide clarity or on connecting and the roles and responsibilities of users on our water and sewer systems. And so this is just providing clarity and authority for the town to enforce its water and sewer bylaws.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hilson, can I ask, once these bylaws are passed by council, where do they go then? Are they sent to the province to review or
No.
not?
No, these bylaws don't require review. The Good Neighbor bylaw requires Ministry of Transportation review, as it talks about city streets and highways. And there's regulations that similar to a zoning bylaw, if it's certain meters or feet away from a highway, then it has to go to MOTI. This bylaw doesn't have those same provincial requirements.
Thank you. So the recommendation is that this be read a first, second, and third time. There's someone who left, Councillor King, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you very much. That's passed. Next, we will move on to the CAO report. Mr. Risley.
Thank you, your worship.
That was sweet.
Yeah, over the last little bit, there's been a Destination Suite Small World. They had attended their tours of master plan committee meeting as well as their AGM. So Dio's doing a lot of fantastic work and is continuing to attempt to improve our image as being Canada's warmest welcome. And yeah, it's good work so far. Hopefully the next few months that report will be completed. Other things going on, the grant applications process has closed. We received 8 for the RMI grant and 21 from the community services grants. That committee will be meeting in the near future and hopefully make it to the December council meeting for approval, releasing some funds to some of our fantastic nonprofit entities. And winter program and activity guide is going out to the printer, so very shortly that'll be out there for people to look at the new programs that are available. A couple new programs that are on the books. Their babysitters training course and something called Mother Goose. The staff are also gearing up with the 3rd annual Jingle Bell Run and partnership with Desert Valley Running Club on December 2nd. And also Elk in the Park will be happening again starting November 30th. From Northern operations perspective, getting ready for light up in a couple days here. So you see a lot of the Christmas lights are up. So staff been doing a great job getting ready for that. And I think the other thing I'll mention, it was mentioned last go round, I'll do another kudos with a successful day, the fire chief for a day, and we've talked a lot about with council last go around, but very successful day, very excited. Resident Josine Fadden, who was fire chief for the day, and I saw the fire truck driving around with her a few times. She had a big smile on her face. So I just wanted to bring that to attention. I also want to thank the community. There's a lot of support for administration over the last few weeks. There's been a lot of comments from some people, but definitely fantastic support from a lot of the members of the community. I want to thank them. It's been a tough time for staff. I think it's really disheartening to hear some of the comments that come back to them. They don't deserve some of the comments that are brought to them. As an employer, we don't tolerate disrespectful behavior of our staff, and we'll continue to support them in whatever manner we can. So I definitely want to give a huge kudos out to them. They are definitely being abused, both in homes, and
Give me a break. There is nobody abusing the staff. There is nobody abusing the staff.
This is not an open, this is not an open.
This-
forum.
Have one then.
Well, then
Like you
you have an
lying
open
on
forum
TV.
because
An open meeting. Like you lying on TV saying everybody's okay with the rate increase?
Excuse me.
they couldn't even send out letters to all the guys that should get one, which is every single homeowner, not just 50%.
Could you let Mr. Risney finish, please? He has a
He's
report
lying.
that he's
He's
giving.
lying.
Again, I really want to thank the staff for what they're going through. And unfortunately, it's not only occurring within the office environment, it does occur sometimes when outside the office. And so again, I want to give a big kudos to those people. They're a great team and have been doing a fantastic job. I also want to indicate to council and the ratepayers in general that there's obviously something that could be done better in the whole communication process. A lot of the information has been out there, but I do understand it's a very complicated process. There's lots of tentacles out there that are out there that go into the whole budget process. So we're committed to improving that process. We're committed to providing additional information here within the next day or two as far as the Q&A on some of the questions that we're hearing. And we'll take this as a learning opportunity and look to improve the process in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Risney. We have a motion, please, to accept the CEO report for information. Councillor Clutterly, Councillor Chung, all in favor. Thank you. Now we go to council reports. Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's been a little quiet on one side of things. I did attend the Community Futures Board meetup in Penticton. Couple hours, kind of representing the town. There was a couple other meets that had to be canceled, so we did attend, but we didn't accomplish anything. And that's really my report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Basically, just a couple meetings up in, with the, Okanagan Library Board, where I'm at right now for the last 2 days on strategic planning. The last week we had a board meeting, and that's my report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Chong.
Thank you, Your Worship. I prepared a little bit of a statement, but first off, I would like to apologize for the situation we're in. I took office to serve the people, not for my own personal gain. I've taken time away from my family, from my 20-month-old, and from my business to do what I can to serve, to help. I live in Osoyoos. I pay the same taxes as all residents. And just because I have a name tag here doesn't make me any less of a human than anyone else. I don't deserve to be harassed. My wife doesn't. And it's this isn't the community that I've come to love over the last 6.5 years. I think we as a whole can do better, and that's me included. So I'm gonna take that responsibility right there. I'm doing the best I can with the information provided to us from our staff to be as effective counselors as I can be. Our current situation is it's bleak. My daughter's bathwater shouldn't be brown. Your water shouldn't be brown. Residents shouldn't need to go indoors because the sewage lagoons are experiencing failures and the stench is unbearable. I had the first tea time on Saturday, so I know the stench. Like I'm a part of the community as well. These issues have been developing for decades, and I've been in office for 13 months. This is an impossible situation. We have $60.5 million in water and sewer capital projects over the next 5 years. And that's today's quote. And to put in context, a 1% increase in property taxes is just shy of 32 grand. So we can all do some of the general math there, and there's a huge disconnect. And it's very, very difficult to make the two pieces connect. But ultimately, we serve the public, and I'm committed to looking at everything in the budget, to hearing what you have to say, and amend it accordingly. And we have directed staff into organizing an open forum so that we can hear your concerns, because I serve you guys. So that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chong. Councillor Federico.
Thank you, Your Worship, and the statement as well as some of the comments that might echo Councillor Chong's, but it's important to understand that just over 13 months ago, I was elected amongst everyone here at this table, and I was elected to deal with the issues at hand, with the information at hand, and the finances at hand. And it's important to understand that when we were elected, the biggest issues, as they are today, is our critical infrastructure, the water and wastewater utilities, some of which are nearing their maximum age. As most know, Osoyoos is well into the 70s, and the infrastructure in some places in this town are in that age of group as well, and at the end of their life. Previous councils, of course, could only do what they could with the information and advice provided to them at the time. And a lot of what we have discovered in the last year or so is with the assistance of our asset management plans that our infrastructure is quite costly to maintain, quite costly to repair, and quite costly to build as we plan for future growth. As well, coupled with that, the current economic conditions, inflation, global supply issues that have risen costly these projects that we essentially need. It's important, and that this council has been very, very, very focused on fixing those two utilities. They can need investment well over $1 million in the next 5 years in order for us to deal with our wastewater and water quality, quantity, treatment, and transportation issues. It's our senior administration, our experts, and our staff who have helped council understand those impacts. And it's our asset management plans that we've recently received that allows that kind of better understanding what those costs are going to be looking in the future, and we must act on those and plan for those moving forward. We're at a time right now where we can't ignore this issue. This issue isn't going to go away. Right now, it doesn't make sense feasibly to finance like the large portion of these capital expenditures due to the current interest rates, market conditions. But council needs to be able to act with the information that's provided and deliver on that to the taxpayer, which we are. Our family settled in this area well in the late fifties, and it's where our family chose to raise a family for roughly the last 40 years. The past few weeks have been challenging to our community. This levels of hate, anger, division, and discrimination in our community has resulted in residents fighting with residents, against businesses, and the behavior in the past few weeks is concerning. It reflects partly on Canada's warmest welcome in our community as a whole. I appreciate the concerns raised with regards to the budget. It is council's responsibility to make the best decisions with the information provided to it and the guidance available. But these decisions may not always be popular. They may address years of infrastructure deficits created by artificially low tax rates and a very limited revenue base that's crippled the infrastructure needs of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. So, we certainly have seen a lot of harassment and discrimination involved in town over the last couple of weeks. And it is disheartening to everybody, because I think this council has really worked hard to try and look at what the options are, what are the important things that we need to do, and how we can move forward and make this a safe and viable community for all of us. Last night, I'm going to bring this up. Last night, I received an open letter from Dustin Sikora asking me questions about documents he had received from official town records. The main concern within the letter revolved around the following, and I quote, "These documents include internal communications, budget applications, council meeting minutes, and video recordings and council budget approvals that allege a conflict of interest and acts of impropriety on your behalf, and without any further and forthright responses from yourself. Specifically, documents show that you have voted to enrich your friend Janice St. Louis with a 15% commission administration fee from the Music in the Park budget that is drawn from the Resort Municipality Initiative Fund. I want the public to know that council makes the decision on where funding is allocated. A majority vote is what determines where funding is allocated. To be clear, I did vote on funding this event. All information is made available to council, including myself. The decision was unanimous to fund the Music in the Park application. I want to be clear that I take my job as mayor and my oath of office very seriously. My intention is to continue to be the town's mayor for the remainder.
Still
of my
conflict of
term.
interest.
She's
Still
speaking.
conflict of interest.
Thank you. I am going to say that Christmas light up activities are planned for this weekend. We are very fortunate to have many community volunteers who donate their time all year to bring positive activity for all.
Shame.
Yeah, thank you.
Shame.
Thank you very much. That is, I'm going to move into the in
He
camera.
didn't finish the rest of his letter.
No.
I'd like you to finish the rest of
Excuse
it.
me,
Say-
I have made my report. Thank you. In camera, that pursuant to section 91 of the community charter, part of the council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered related to one or more of the following. Section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations. Section 91E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements. And section 391G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. Could we have a motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Quadriga.